Sonic the Hedgehog, being one of the original gaming mascots, has been parodied to death alongside all the others. So there have been a lot of them done over the years, but one of the most popular are the Sonic shorts made by the Sonic Paradox team, a group of animators who have made a ton of Sonic parody cartoons starting all the way back in 2008. So I'm here today to rank them. Similarly to my Garfield comic ranking videos, this will mostly be based on the humor I find in them, though for shorts that I feel similarly about their humor, their art style may be the deciding factor. So, as with all ranking videos, this list is extremely subjective to my personal opinions, so they may not align with yours. Before we get started though, I do want to clarify which shorts I'll actually be counting. Basically, it's just the shorts within the mainline 10 volumes, not counting any credit gags. So, I will not be counting the Sonic Seconds, or the Knuckles Briefs, or the Vector's Knickers shorts. I will only be counting the ones in Sonic Shorts volumes 1 through 10. And in cases where there are sequel shorts that follow up on a previous one, they will be counted separately. So, yeah. After tallying them up, I counted a total of 233 unique shorts that will be considered for this ranking video. As for how I'll be ranking them, I'll be doing them a little bit differently than the Garfield comics, as I'll be using an E to A ranking like the Adventure era used. So the tiers mean as follows. E rank are the shorts that I don't really like and I kinda wish weren't included at all. D rank are for the ones that I'm not really fond of, but I can at least tolerate. C rank are the ones that are okay, but not terrible, not really that amazing. B rank are the really good ones, and A are the best of the best. No S rank, as that wasn't introduced until Sonic Rush, so E through A is what you're getting. So with that said, let's begin with the Sonic shorts that I wish weren't there.
I gotta do better next time.
Do you ever wonder why Sally Acorn doesn't appear in any of the games? It's because she's not allowed within 500 yards of a school zone or 10 feet of a child unaccompanied. Bad game, buddy 123. Bad game, buddy 123. Bad animator. Boo. Fart jokes suck. Get off the stage. Even having watched this short several times, I'm still not really sure what's happening or what the jokes are supposed to be. I mean, I guess Tails and that other person died, but like, really, what is going on in this one? I just don't get it. This short is just absolutely nothing at all. It has a follow-up in 2-8, and honestly, they did not need to be separated. They're short enough to stick together. I don't really know what I'm missing here, but Crikey, this short is just utterly incomprehensible. Not a fan, my friend. This short earns its E rank because of its disgusting depiction of Sonic's feet. I get that's the joke, but that's not gonna make me like it anymore. Look, Insector. I don't know what your deal is, why you hate the Big and Froggy joke from the main series, but I don't know. This just feels like a bit too much, just like going on one of those Quagmire-style rants about how much Brian sucks, except for it's for the Big and Froggy joke, so yeah, not a fan. Unfortunately for the animator Freggie, this short reminds me of something that Dorkly would make, and in my opinion, that is an unforgivable sin. Bottom tier you are, my friend. You reminded me of the Cosmo and Tails romance arc, one of the worst things from all of Sonic, and you reminded me of Cosmo, a character I'm not really a fan of in general. Neo Saipo, you're going to Brazil. As someone who really isn't a fan of this genre of music, I really don't like the short, and given the fact that Knuckles is the only person in the audience and seems to have been there by mistake, I'm guessing no one else in the universe likes it either. I'll be honest, I have never understood what joke this short is trying to imply. Who's supposed to be the American? Is it Blaze because she has glasses? If not, who is it supposed to be? Why? What nationality are the others supposed to be? I'm sorry, I just don't get this one. While I understand why they made this short, probably because people were doing this exact thing back in the day, I don't know. It's just kind of preachy, and nowadays I feel like, who cares? I don't really like this.
Maybe this was an odd day.
As far as I can figure, there are 3 things that Boozer Man loves. One is obviously booze. The second one is shipping Sonic characters, and the third one is torturing Vector for no reason. What the hell did Vector ever do to you, Boozer Man? You literally sponsored a shorts collection that was basically just bullying him for its entire runtime. What is your problem with Vector? The first part of this short is completely disconnected from the second, so I'm not really sure why Boozer Man put it in there. That said, it was the best part because it showed the Kingdom Key from Kingdom Hearts. The second half, eh. Well, that just happened. The main reason I'm not really a fan of this one is because I think it goes on just a little bit too long. It kind of fumbles its way through the entire short, and really, there aren't any funny jokes to help it along. Certainly, this is one of the shorts of all time. He is just standing there. This is indeed one of the Sonic shorts of all time. This short would have been good if it didn't have two things holding it back. Number one, the voice they're doing for Cream here. It was fine back in 9-28 because that was intentionally not Cream, but here it's a little bit weird since it's supposed to be actual Cream, and you know, they have a voice for Cream, so I don't know what's going on here. And secondly, I think it would have been way funnier if Cheese was still tiny after he got the drink from Cream. I've seen Shao Karate, those guys can throw down even while tiny, but I guess the animation of this fight is funny enough to keep that at the bottom. General Cacti, are you proud of yourself for drawing Sally like that? Was it really worth it? How exactly did Sonic miss the giant wide open gap in front of him? Is it a perspective joke because in 2D it looks solid and in 3D there's a hole that we can't see and that's why he hit? I have no idea. I feel like this short is supposed to be referencing something, but since I don't understand the reference, I don't like the short. Just like 1-3, I'm sure there's a reference here that I'm completely missing, but when I don't get it, I just don't think it's that great. Okay, I'm calling BS on this one. Knuckles definitely planted that foxtail in the chili dog, because it clearly wasn't there in the wide shot before. I mean, that thing's huge! We would have seen it! Just like short 2-6, this clearly was not in the wider shots of the short, so you can't fool me. I'm not really sure why this short is implying that Silver is an effeminate character, because I don't really think he ever gives off those vibes, but whatever. To be fair to this short, Sonic 06 was still fairly recent when it came out, but in the year 2025, I just don't care. It's shorts like this that fuel the fandom's misconception of Amy being super obsessed with Sonic, so I can't exactly say I'm a fan. And how exactly did that happen, Amy? Anything you want to tell us? I'll be honest, whatever gag they're attempting is completely lost on me. Yeah, the bouncer has barked a polar bear, and I presume the guy with the mustache is Bean the Dynamite, unless Bean is the guy who was already at the bar, and I don't know what they were going for here. I'm going to assume that this audio is not from a genuine Sobe green tea ad, but I'm more just baffled why this exists at all, considering it's really not that funny, so great job, I guess. I don't really have much to say here other than I don't really care about this skit. I mean, yeah, his eyes change color, so I guess he could be wearing contacts, or maybe the Chaos Emeralds are just magical and it just changed his eye color, so you know. The two jokes in this short are so disconnected that I fail to understand why they're part of the same short, as I feel like they kind of detract from each other and would have been a lot stronger had they been separate. I know by seeing the characters that this is a Sonic OVA reference, but I haven't watched it, so I don't understand. Do you think that Eggman has like Doofenshmirtz energy where he doesn't really want to defeat his rival and he just wants to battle him again and again? I just don't really think so, given the way that he acts in some of the games. Also, I don't really know who the kid at the end is supposed to be. Is that supposed to be Chris Thorndike, or who the hell is that kid who pisses on Sonic? I don't get it. I feel like they really botched the punchline of this one because they gave it a bad setup where Knuckles didn't actually give Shadow any ideas. You ruined the joke from 4-4, Gemios. What the hell? I really don't get what the joke is supposed to be here. Is it inconsistency on Shadow's super transformation? If so, I mean, I guess. It's not really that funny though. But it's saved from bottom tier because it does have that one funny joke where Sonic says, "Super," and I don't know, I think that's a little bit funny. I get what the gag is supposed to be, but I'm still left questioning the logic. Like, how does this work? Was Sonic's body embedded in the mini plateau? How did it get out? Like, why was he just standing there and, screw it, fine, I'll stop questioning the logic of these shorts. If this is just supposed to be Sonic visiting Launch Base on a random day, why are Knuckles and Eggman here? Did he tell them he was going to be here and they'd agreed to show up? Also, why does the base start getting pulled apart if a lot of it is clearly not metal? Screw it. I feel like this joke could have also been made with Team Sonic and Team Chaotix, given the flyers for all three of these teams are tiny children, but yeah. I don't know for sure, but this certainly feels like it's supposed to be a Dragon Ball reference, but I don't know having never seen it. But that said, all the screaming is still annoying. I really don't get this one. What exactly does Knuckles realize when he suddenly turns around and yells at Sonic to run? Why were they waiting to get the Master Emerald in the first place? Who's that little gremlin that steals it? Why was Knuckles smoking? Screw it! Come on, Shadow, leave the poor Chao alone. What did it ever do to you? I mean, in Sonic X, he was literally Chris's teacher, so I wouldn't really call that stalking, especially since he's a government agent. While I do get the reference, I just don't really find this one funny all and short is the best one. All hail the glorious Hypnotoad. I mean, I guess it is a good question as to why Sonic doesn't have chest hair, but honestly, did anyone actually think about this before watching this short? Because I know I sure didn't. Why didn't Knuckles just use his magical ability to shrink the Master Emerald to something he can carry in his hands like he does in Sonic Adventure 2? Like, that would have made the journey way easier. Also, Knuckles, if you take it off Angel Island, it'll fall into the ocean and cause problems, you jerk.
Guess this will do.
This joke is so out of context that I really don't understand it at all, but it's a little bit ridiculous enough to pass. I don't really know how Sonic got his head caught in one of these when he was doing just fine with the other ones. Like, what the hell happened? I mean, if this were really possible, wouldn't Sonic trip over every single ring that he passes by? How exactly did Rouge get the entire Master Emerald in her mouth? And why is Knuckles only reacting strongly to one piece of it, even though it's not broken, so really there should only be one piece to react to? I mean, I want to like it because of the joke is kind of funny, but I also want to dislike it for making Knuckles really stupid. I mean, Rouge's canonical age is 18, so Sonic is just straight up wrong here. That said, I guess the cringe and funny perfectly balance each other out here, so yeah. This is a perfectly average Sonic short. Not too great, but not too bad. This joke is fine, but I probably won't remember it in a few days. This is a follow-up to short 9-25, and it's a lot less funny than before. Why is all the debris right in her path anyway? Boo. I guess this short wants Sonic to be Man of Steel or something with Sonic causing those casualties. Great question, Orbinaut. I guess Eggman didn't think of that one, did he? Continuing from short 8-9, the Orbinaut is not the only Badnik who has this problem in gameplay, so I'm surprised there aren't any others with him. I'll be honest, I think this short would have been way higher if it simply ended at the splash card. I think it would have been way better since it seemed like Blaze was trolling the conductor and not actually entertaining him. And the fact that she apparently was entertaining him, I think it decreases the value of the joke. Looks like Sonic got the K. Rool and Donkey Kong Country 3 treatment in this short. I have no idea who the dude on the left is supposed to be, but I guess that's how Chaos would talk. I have no idea where the perception of Silver being slower than everyone else came from, considering he's never really had a problem keeping up with them, so, okay. RIP to Silver. Still don't know where the perception of him being slow came from, but this is a little bit better than part 1. I mean, I guess this is funny, but we also all know that the Master Emerald is more durable than that. Well, this timeline's screwed, and all because Sonic doesn't want to learn the timing for the Wyvern boss fight. Well, the developers of this game were Sumo Digital, so if you want to get mad at anyone Sonic, get mad at them. I have no idea why this short was removed in the HD remake, because, I mean, there was the copyrighted music, but there was the short in Knuckles Briefs HD, as well as 2-1 that were both kept in, they just had the music changed. And it's not like 2-7 where the whole joke relied on the song. The music could have easily been replaced, but whatever. This feels like it would be a gag from a video called Sonic Adventure 2 Lost Ending or something like that. To be fair to Sonic, how could he have possibly known that that was the life support system for this animal? I mean, we know that Eggman stole the Master Emerald during the events of Hidden Palace, so I guess this short takes place before then. That said, I do have to take points off for using the Wilhelm scream because it kind of sours the mood of what otherwise was a pretty funny joke. Personally, I quite enjoy the camera slam gag. It's fun. Okay, but like, where's the car that was clearly in the close-up shot? You can't fool me, Kadoyu. I've never had any nightmares quite like this, so I guess I can't really relate, but also, yeah, it is still kind of funny. I don't think Blaze would actually murder Sonic this early in the game. She only fought him at the end of the game in Sonic Rush because she wanted to save the world all on her own. I guess to be fair, they really only did explain Tails' backstory in the manual of Sonic 2, and not everyone is going to be reading that. I have no idea why Eggman is working at the store, but I guess it's in character for him. The over 9,000 gag feels a little bit tired by today's standards, but I guess it was more acceptable at the time. I mean, this short does bring up a good question about how Eggman ultimately balanced the Badnik. Maybe he solved it by making the nub way heavier to balance it out? I think this joke just takes a little bit too long for the punchline to be delivered, but hey, they're punching Chris Thorndike, so I guess it was worth it. How exactly does Sonic defeating a butterfly Badnik cause the bad future to happen? I mean, I get the joke, it's the butterfly effect, but I still have a lot of questions. I mean, we don't know that Vector wanted something sexual out of Rouge. Maybe he was just trying to get information from someone in the business. Yeah, I would say that Sonic's adrenaline junkie personality and thrill-loving actions here, yep, that's pretty in character. No, really, what was Gun thinking when they sicked that big-ass truck on Sonic? They're literally destroying the city to catch one hedgehog. What's wrong with them? Unfortunately for Sonic, Shadow Generations rewrote history and gave Shadow a bunch of BS powers, so RIP in this fight, I guess. I suppose that the names of the Badniks are pretty ridiculous, but like, is Sonic only just learning their names now? Did he not know? I mean, I guess he wouldn't just stop and ask them or Eggman what all the robots are called, so I give this one a pass. I have no idea why Gamma and Big are going in together as a couple, or who's judging the cuteness of the couples, but RIP to both Sonic and Amy here. I mean, honestly, this short does something more interesting with the main villain of Frontiers than the game itself. Way to fumble the bag, guys. I mean, I guess this is a more accurate portrayal of Sonic and Amy's relationship than most fan work show, so I guess credit where it's due. Similarly to short 3-9, this feels like it would be part of a video called Sonic Heroes Deleted Cutscenes, and yeah, it's pretty good. I'm kinda surprised that more people don't write Amy as having a crash out over Sonic's antics and fan works like this, so yeah, kinda like that. I guess Shadow got tricked into picking up one of Tails' fake Chaos Emeralds. I guess it pays to check what you're stealing, huh, Shadow? So it seems like this is a game universe Knuckles meeting all of his extended friends and family from the comics universe, and yeah, I don't blame him for crashing out. These are a bunch of weirdos. The comic series sucks. As much as I really don't care about the Sad I Am Sonic cartoon, the gag in this one is pretty funny. I at least understand why this one was removed, because yeah, the whole thing is linked to the song, and it would have been hard to replace it, but I still enjoy this one enough, except for the end where the M. Bison Yes meme is played, which was completely unnecessary for this one. You know, if I had a nickel for every time that Sonic had to go to the sewers in Sonic Adventure 1, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice, right? As this is the first short on the list made by them, I wanted to state that Piggybank 12 is my personal favorite animator from the Sonic Paradox team. I just really like the art style. Anyway, this short is fine. Don't worry guys, Sonic Mania is coming in the future, and the 3 of you will finally have your chance to stand in the spotlight again. And this is why Sonic and Tails are a great duo, because Sonic needs to rely on him sometimes, because Eggman likes to do a little bit of trolling. That said, where the hell did Tails go, and why didn't he come back? Actually, the real reason that Sonic Drift sucks is because it's an old school racing game on a handheld console called the Game Gear and doesn't control very well. You know, shouldn't Shadow have brought up this flaw in the plan way earlier? Then again, I guess in Sonic Adventure 2 he did want to kill all humanity. But then why is he criticizing Eggman here? Ah, screw it. Don't worry, Caliburn. Metal will still eventually melt, and you'll meet your eternal punishment after you do. You're such a jerk for trying to do the knighting ceremony while they're about to die. Honestly, I think this one's on Tikal and Eggman for building a bad ship, so you're off the hook this time, Knux.
Good job. Nothing more to be said.
Apparently, the day that Iblis is defeated in the bad future is a day of planetary alignment. Also, Blaze is supposed to be intangible at this point. How does she keep hitting all the debris? How did it get in line in the first place? If the springs could really launch something with that force, then I think Sonic would go flying into the stratosphere every time he touched one. You know, Eggman is supposed to be a genius, but like, he never seemed to think of this plan, so I guess he can't be that smart. Given that Michael Jackson was involved in the creation of some of the songs for Sonic 3, I feel like this is pretty appropriate. Shame that the Sonic Origins collections could not get the licenses to use those tracks again, though. Listen up, Tails, you can't just contradict the canon like that. Every time Sonic uses the emeralds to fight a god monster, the emeralds just scatter every which way into other dimensions, which is why he has to collect them again in the next game. The Knuckles thing though, yeah, that's probably accurate. Not cool, Sonic. Not cool. Even though the first dash pads actually appeared before Sonic Adventure 2, I like to think that this is how the first interaction between Sonic and a dash pad could have gone. Well, Knuckles, since Tails hasn't gotten off his lazy ass to invent a Chow language translator, I guess we're not gonna know, are we? Continuing from short 1-1, I would assume that Sonic would have stopped by now since it's nighttime, but maybe this is one of those Dimps boost pads that just goes on forever. Is it sacrilege to say that I think the Goofy movie is only like a 7 out of 10 decent kids movie? Anyway, this short's fine. You know, Sonic, I don't think it's gonna taste nearly as good as you're picturing. Just like, run over to the nearest chili dog stand, it can't be that far with your speed. Well, Sonic, I guess you need a little bit more practice before you... I feel like this is a slightly better version of short 2-3, so since that one was already good, so is this one. This short was cut from the If Sonic Adventure 2 Was More Realistic video. I have no idea who this evil Super Sonic character is, but yeah, I guess good on him for beating up Scourge. See, DeviantArt artists, just because they're not wearing clothes doesn't mean that they're naked. Get your minds out of the gutter. I mean, this literally happens in one of the Game Gear games in one of its water levels. Gotta love the cartoon gag of when someone is set on fire, their entire body is charred except for their eyes. Even though the joke itself is completely nonsensical, the super compressed audio in this short actually makes it way funnier. There are a lot of bosses in every video game that seem to have designs only made so you can attack them, so it's fair to poke fun at it, but I do gotta take some points off for using British slang. This is basically short 1-5, but just better. How exactly are there Badnik children? Or is Eggman just like putting the animal's child into a smaller robot for some reason, even though he doesn't need to do that? Whatever. The joke's still funny. Aha. Soap shoes. Because in Sonic Adventure 2, he had those shoes made by the Soap Shoe Company. So he has literally shoes made of soap. Ha ha ha. Hey, Knuckles is kinda right here. The lyrics for Unknown from ME are pretty weird, so yeah, why does it say that, unlike Sonic, Knuckles doesn't chuckle? The best part of this short is how when Sonic died, he fell into the Family Guy death pose. A follow-up to short 9-1. I think it would have been a little bit funnier if they were bowing down to a statue of the Butterfly Badnik instead of Omo Chow, given that Omo Chow is not in Sonic CD, but you know, whatever, still funny. Poor Knuckles. The life of the Guardian of the Master Emerald is really lonely and... Hey, wait a second. If Knuckles is the only one who lives on Angel Island, who the hell built and runs Carnival Night? I get Launch Base was built by Eggman, but what's the deal with the Carnival Night? It doesn't seem to be an Eggman facility. Don't come between Big and Froggy, or there will be serious consequences. This is quite literally how the trailer for Sonic Lost World goes, so yeah, why the heck did Sonic run away from them instead of like trying to fight them? Like, they're all right there, Sonic, you could have beaten them easily. You know, for someone who's supposed to be a super genius, Tails, you'd think you would have learned how to program a firewall. And also, Eggman, you need to put your shirt back on, my guy. I have no idea who this mermaid girl is in the lineup of girls that Sonic is thinking about, but yeah, this short is right, Sonic. You know you love it. I'm pretty sure most ice rinks are not built over lakes, especially ones at the Olympic Games, but yeah, that's still funny. I've always felt that the old school Eggman design was better suited for cartoony antics, such as the ones in this short. And that's why Sonic 3D Blast sucks. Also just because it's not really that good of a game. Sonic, my guy, I think your ring count is kinda broken, and also so is your timer, which should have killed you already. This is a bit of a long setup for the joke, but I like the ultimate punchline, so I don't mind it too much. You know, it's kind of a good point. Sonic can't swim, but he has no problem going through water stages, so I don't know why he was freaking out with Tails here earlier. Honestly, this feels like something that could have easily happened to Sonic, where he's just like, man, I'm just trying to have, like, a day off. Can I, like, not get into some crazy adventure for once? Well, I'm not too upset that Sonic just did that. I don't really care about these characters. Does anyone? I'm pretty sure they do, but I don't, so, yay. The Frogger parody is pretty good, but honestly, I feel like Big should be able to swim, especially if he has his life ring from Sonic Adventure 1. Okay, look, I know the ending of Secret Rings is a bit corny, but I do actually like it in reality. But this joke, yeah, it feels pretty fair and funny. Unrelated to this short, but I've always had a theory that since Metal Sonic debuted in Sonic CD, the game where there's time travel and the bad future is originally what happens before Sonic gathers the Time Stones, that Metal Sonic is actually a fully roboticized Sonic from the bad future. and that's why he always insisted on being the real Sonic, because he was until he was transformed, and also why he still doesn't like Eggman, because there's still that bit of Sonic in him. But that's just a fan theory, and I'm sure that there has been things that have disproven it in the Sonic mythos, but yeah. Also, this short is good. I really like the voice that Patty RL, the animator of this and several other shorts, gives to Eggman during his shorts. And yeah, the joke is also pretty funny. Sorry Eggman, them's the rules, even if they are unfair to you. The ending of this short implies that Chris Hansen has been trying to catch Big the Cat for a while, and he keeps getting away. That's certainly something, I'll just say. Given that the Chaotix often struggle to pay rent, I'm guessing they often don't have too much food sitting around the house, so while I can't blame Charmy for being hungry enough for this, I can blame Vector and Espio for being a bit negligent for providing food for their young boy they're taking care of. Given how long Knuckles went between gameplay appearances where he could glide, I guess I'm not too surprised that he forgot that he could do it. The letter falling off the sign feels like a gag that would be from like some sort of Sonic creepypasta, but since it's taken way more humorously here, it's way better. Apparently there were some children who had trouble figuring out what to do with the barrel in Carnival Night Zone. I was not one of those children. While I think a lot of criticisms can be leveled against Boozer Man basically telling the same jokes and constantly bullying Vector in his shorts, I think the original incarnation of the joke was actually pretty funny. This was genuinely one of the stupidest plot points that Shadow Generations introduced, and I'm glad that someone is making fun of it. I'm accepting this short as canon, and assuming that this is the commercial that Sonic saw in the beginning of Sonic Colors that made him so suspicious. Don't know why Chris Thorndike is there though. I wonder if the Chow's Halo actually tasted like a donut or was good at all. Either way, I'm pretty sure this Chow is going dark after this one, Sonic. Come on, Knuckles, you gotta stop giving your enemies weapons to use against you. That said, I wonder if Mecha Sonic ever got the clothing he was trying to order. I mean, this really was how it was for Super Sonic for quite a number of years. You had the Genesis games where you could play as Super Sonic whenever you wanted once you collect the emeralds, but then I'm pretty sure until Sonic Colors, you couldn't. You just collected them in special stages or through story moments, and then you just didn't get to play as Super Sonic in the stages, which is lame. Especially because there are so many games where they clearly planned to have Super Sonic playable in regular stages at some point, and then they just cut it out, so yeah, this short's pretty accurate. You know, kind of a dick move by Sonic here, but I guess Tails will respawn in a couple seconds. I'm still more impressed that the fish can hold that gun. I think it's really funny how the only part of Mario that is actually animated in this short is his head moving, and I don't know, it just makes this one way funnier, and I really don't know why Sonic's being such a hater, but yeah. Yeah, the chicken walker from Palm Tree Panic always sucked, and I really don't know why Eggman thought it was good, so at least he admits it. While I personally do like Sonic X overall, I won't deny that the show itself, and especially Season 3, had some pretty bad problems with it, so I still think it was a bit of an overreaction by Sad-I-Am Robotnik, but, you know, I guess I understand a little bit. But yeah, Sonic Underground was a much worse show, so I understand getting rid of that one. I mean, in Team Sonic's storyline, Knuckles says something along the lines of how it's completely insane to load themselves into the cannon and shoot themselves out like that, so, yeah, I guess this is pretty accurate. Honestly, this feels like a gag they could have done in an introduction to Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog. I mean, that show was basically a Roadrunner Wile E. Coyote cartoon, so this would have fit right in. This is the second part of short 2-5 from earlier in the list. And yeah, it's a pretty funny joke, but I just don't get why the opening, like, couple seconds were cut off of it and made into a separate short. It really didn't need to be separated. This is pretty accurate to how the computer-controlled Tails is in Sonic 2. As someone who really doesn't know anything about Scourge because he's a comic-exclusive character, I'm getting the vibe that everyone really thinks he sucks. This is basically how the Egg Dragoon boss fight from the HD version of Sonic Unleashed goes in a nutshell. I think it's interesting how only in the HD version does Eggman's machine just arbitrarily malfunction, whereas in the Wii/PS2 version it doesn't, so why did he build it better in the non-HD version of the game? I don't know. The thing that really sells this short is just Big's face of complete disbelief at the end. It's so great. There's one simple reason why you lost to a rat, Eraser Jin. It's because Remy wanted a bit of genie juice to use in his next suit. If Eggman is so smart, why does he have a blow up his own base card within his slot machine cards? Continuing from shorts 9-1, 17, and 32 for more shenanigans. I have no idea what chain of events led to a bunch of vectors existing at once like this, but you know what they say, 99% of time loopers give up right before they finally find the cycle where they fix everything. Damn, it really was a giant talking egg. I wonder who that spoon belongs to, though. Apparently everyone in Sonic's universe has crippling epilepsy. Go figure. You know, I feel like this short would have been enhanced if Sonic's body hit the space station in a mirror to short 3-9 at the end, but yeah, it still works. You know, this is the reason why live-action adaptations of things are not always good or should be made, Disney. You know, I still don't really get why people hate Sonic Prime so much. I mean, to be fair, I guess I haven't seen all of it yet, but I don't know, from the bit I saw, which was Season 1, I thought that was pretty good, so yeah. But also the short's just really funny. I like it. You know, Chris Thorndike, this is why no one likes you. You really didn't think that Sonic and his friends would be different from non-anthro animals? This is why you don't get to be in the series anymore. And also copyright reasons, so, you know, there's that too. The animation on this Badnik is really what sells the short for me. Gotta side with Knuckles here, Sonic. You had plenty of time to see that one coming and get out of the way. Exactly how many rings did Sonic have here, and why did he let Eggman shoot him? Did he know that this would happen? Was it intentional to destroy the Death Egg like this? If so, I guess 300 IQ move from Sonic here. While I would say it's in character of Charmy to pull a prank like this, I would say it's rather out of character for Espio to get that scared. But that said, I think the animation of this short is really great, and I still like the joke. Well, you know the Chaotix' policy. They never turn down work that pays, and I'd imagine a work like that pays quite a lot. You know, if we had a weather guy as accurate as the Chicken Badnik from the Studiopolis boss fight, we would never be surprised by the weather. Knux may have owned Sonic here, but the Chili Dog pulled out its Capri Sun powers to exact vengeance on his behalf. Before watching this short, I never really thought about Maria having a Valley Girl accent, but honestly this makes it way funnier. That said, the reason that this short is not A rank is for a few reasons. One, the part where it replicates the canon scene with Maria and Shadow feels completely, totally different from the rest of it with the live stream. And also, the government would know that Maria is there. She is on the Space Colony Ark, the space station created by the government. And so they definitely know everyone who's on there, so doxing her wouldn't do anything. Also, like, just what? I don't know why I'm trying to bring logic into this, but it does drag my opinion down just a little bit so it doesn't get A rank.
Now you know why I am the best!
You know what? I'll accept this one into canon. Let's go with it. I question how Knuckles could have possibly lost a card game to an inanimate object, but I do really like the gag, especially with the Emerald Detector right at the end. I wonder if the creatives over at Sonic Team have actually had big meetings about what type of animals they will and won't use for Sonic characters whenever they're considering adding a new one. Maybe they've had conversations that go exactly like this short. I don't know why Shadow was so dead set on having eggs, but I guess it was a justified crash out, as was Knuckles' response. I really love how upset Sonic gets about catching the emo. I mean, Shadow definitely should have covered his mouth, but yeah, this is really funny. Once again, a completely deserved crash out. I think that Eggman got exactly what he deserved. All of us should be thankful that Christian Whitehead's version of Sonic 2 added the Hidden Palace Zone entrance right where the dreaded pig used to be, because yeah, this is a little too accurate. This is a parody of that one cutscene from Gamma's story from Sonic Adventure 1. I really enjoy Eggman's single-mindedness, and yeah, I still wonder why Eggman was gonna get rid of the rest of the E1000 series after this scene in the game, but yeah, this is really funny. It's funny because it's true, but not exclusively about Sonic characters. I don't know what it is about this specific short, but it's like so stupid that it just like wraps around to being really funny to me. I love every single thing about this short. Continuing from shorts 9-1 and 9-17, we have part 3 of the butterfly effect, and unfortunately for Sonic number 3, it got worse. Much, much worse. I'm with Knuckles on this one. Sonic getting killed by an extra life monitor is hilarious, especially because you can really only get crushed by them if you somehow make them bounce in the Genesis games, which takes a lot of effort, so yeah, I like that. In today's short, Sonic and Shadow learn the horrors of fandom ship art. Continuing from short 9-12, we got some pretty banger jokes here with Infinite and Eggman using the Eclipse Cannon to destroy the final boss of Frontiers. Seriously, Roger Vanderwild has had some pretty great jokes over the year, and I've always appreciated his Sonic parodies. If anyone ever tries to tell you that Sonic 06 is not the worst Sonic game in the entire history, just remind them that this scene, a scene where a human girl kisses the corpse of an anthropomorphic animal, exists in it. Yeah, pretty sure that'll shut down any other arguments. You know, this short really does bring up a lot of questions about why Casinopolis works the way it does, with turning them into pinballs and who's controlling the pinball machine, but yeah, no, it's still very funny. While the writing of this game may have been a little bit weird in places, yeah, it was pretty funny how much they were going in on Shadow for his key thing when he's literally a locksmith. Yeah, Elise, we all know you're a complete freak, even in the timeline after 06 was erased. Please, just keep it to yourself going forward. I mean, I think they should all know that Sonic's true love is chili dogs. That said, it's true that Sonic has a lot of potential love interests, and fans have shipped him with a lot of characters, and yeah, fan characters, fan pairings, that exists too. The Sonic's X's gag really does propel this one to top tier though. Yeah, Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog Eggman has absolutely zero room to criticize Sonic X Eggman for the ridiculousness of his plans. No, really. Who does put springs in the middle of the damn forest? Well, I don't know what the exact mechanics are for how bubbles are spawned in Sonic water levels. It really does feel like this sometimes, where sometimes you run right up to it and it gives you one right away, and other times you're standing right there for like 10 seconds and for some reason it just never spawns. Yeah, this is a good one. Given that Sonic's swimming style in the Olympic Games is flailing and he wears a life vest while competing, yeah, this is pretty accurate. Unlike shorts 2-7 and 3-13, the inserted meme voice clip I think makes perfect sense. I mean, shadow-loving Swiss rolls has essentially become a running gag within this channel, so yeah, gotta give credit to the time it all started. Trip was such a fun addition to Sonic Superstars, and pairing her up with Omega here is really great. I really hope that they keep her around for future entries. I also like to use this excuse whenever someone asks me whatever I'm doing, whatever it may actually be. Given the 11-year gap between Volumes 8 and 9 releasing, this was originally the finale of the series for quite a while, with the animators getting utterly destroyed and murdered by the entire Sonic cast. I appreciate that they had enough of a funny bone in themselves to animate themselves getting brutally murdered like this, so yeah, kudos to them. This short and its sequels are basically how you do short 5-15, but correctly. Hey now, this time Paradox was not Silver's fault, Boozer man. It was the fault of Sonic 06's writers trying to convince us that a young girl wouldn't cry over the death of her father. What a stupid plot point. Silver did his best here, and I'd like to see what Shadow's suggestion would have been if he wants to make any criticisms. Well, looks like Knuckles just won his first title belt by knocking out Sonic. On to the next circuit, buddy boy. Finally, at long last we get to see Shadow eat his words at the hands of Sonic. This is the content I subscribe for. Any joke that involves bullying the Babylon Rogues, the single most annoying characters in all of Sonic, is good by me. Yeah, this ending short is just too accurate. It's pretty close to how I designed my first Sonic OC when I was 13 using a Sonic OC creator I found online. Kudos to Chakra X, they really had the Sonic OC creative process on lock here. Wait, is this the elusive Sonic parody work where Knuckles actually gets to be smart and it's funny? Holy crap, they said it couldn't be done. It cracks me up imagining that Metal has just somehow never seen any bit of himself before, so he really thought he was the real Sonic. Shoutouts to Bobby Talmina in this short for giving Omega the best voice he's had since the Shadow the Hedgehog game back in 2005. Honestly, I'm with the Ifrit on this one, Sonic. There's no need to be a jerk to Shara like that, especially when she's like the best one-off companion you ever get that never shows up again. Even more so than Trip the Sungazer, Sonic Team would absolutely be fumbling the bag if they did not include Sage in future games working on Eggman's side. She's probably my favorite Sonic character introduced like almost ever. She really is that good of a character. So yeah, I hope she sticks around, and this short is really funny because it uses her. Now this is how you do an unofficial product placement parody 1-15, this one's actually funny. With how many times other people in Sonic's world mistake someone else for Sonic, I don't blame him for having this huge crash out here. I guess everyone in the world needs glasses or something. I gotta give Eggman some credit here. The music for Final Egg really is a banger, so I can't blame him for wanting to dance to it, and I think Sonic might just be a hater. As has been shown many times throughout the series, Eggman is actually the fastest thing alive, considering he can often stay ahead of Sonic even while running on foot. For some reason I can't comprehend, this short is not actually counted on the Sonic Shorts wiki as one of the shorts, but I'm counting it. Everything from the mockery of the fans about Sonic 4 to the music being too loud in the recap to the narration itself, yeah, this is perfect. Yeah, this short is pretty accurate to the entire Omochao experience. I mean, yeah, he wasn't in Sonic Adventure 1, but he was in Sonic Adventure 2 going forward, and yeah, there's a reason why everybody dislikes him. But yeah, some really great gags in here, and there's a reason why Sega put the Omochao gun in Shadow the Hedgehog, because they knew the joke, so yeah. And this is why you can't access the last story from Sonic Heroes until you collect all 7 emeralds. Anyway, I really love the retro Cartoon Network-like animation from Twisted Doctor here. It's really awesome. I always wondered why Sonic Adventure 2 had the same tutorial character for both the Hero and Dark stories, instead of like the Dark story having an evil Omochao for their tutorial. But now it all makes sense. Omochao was a Final Fantasy villain all along. Once again, kudos to Piggybank 12 for having a great art style, but yeah, I would really love to see more pointless information moments, because this right here is peak comedy. I never would have thought at the beginning that I would want a full Sonic 3 and Knuckles musical play adaptation, but yeah, after watching this short, I definitely want one. So, that's all the Sonic shorts. I was glad to go back and finally decide my opinions on all of them and put them together in this video. Credits to all the animators who worked on every single short, whether I liked them or not. A link to Sonic Paradox's channel will be below if you want to check out the channels for themselves if for some reason you haven't watched them. And for one last little ranking, I decided to average the scores of each volume, assigning the numbers 1 through 5 to the A through E rankings, and then adding them up and dividing them by the numbers of shorts per volumes. Assuming I didn't make any mistakes, then the volume ranking is as follows. In last place with an average score of 3 is volume number 3. Tying for 9th place with averages of 2.8 each are volumes 1 and 2. 7th place goes to volume 7 with a score of 2.6. Tied for 6th with averages of 2.5 are volumes 8 and 10. 4th place with an average of 2.4 goes to volume 4. 3rd place is tied between volumes 5 and 6 with a 2.3 average, and our winner for the best volume of them all is volume number 9 with 2.2, so congrats to volume number 9. And all of those scores with decimals were rounded to 1 decimal place, in case you were wondering, so yeah. Anyways, I'm excited to see what the future holds for Sonic Paradox. They've made some pretty good stuff, and I look forward to see whatever they've got in store for the future. And I hope you are too. So, until next time.